This video is doing a very fast overview of the inequalities unit. Here we go. Things you want to remember for the inequality. The number that the inequality works out to is not always a solution. So if you get something like m is less than -5, when they give you some solutions, possible solutions, you only want to pick the things that are less than -5. -20, definitely less than -5. -11, less than -5. Is -5 less than -5? No. So you would not pick any of these other solutions. So yes, it works out to -5, but the solution is not -5. I almost consider this a target. The target is not the solution. If it had the or equal to sign, then it would be allowed to the party. And I've got other videos explaining that. Okay, a negative coefficient reverses the inequality sign. This is the other big thing you need to remember. In these problems, this first one has a negative constant, but not a negative coefficient. This problem, that 4 is negative. That's a -4. So you would reverse the inequality for your final answer. This problem has a negative constant, but not a negative coefficient. This one at the end here has a -7 as a coefficient, so therefore you would reverse it for its final answer. All right, we're going to go ahead and go through some examples. Let's go. Okay, so we have the inequality. You're going to solve it. You're going to draw what its solution would look like on a number line, and then you're going to pick some numbers that could be the solution. Now, we've talked about in class how you can use the Desmos calculator immediately to do this bottom right part, but we're going to go ahead and go through the algebraic process because you do need to understand it. Okay, for this problem, just like we would when solving an equation, we would add 8 to both sides, and you'd get 4m is greater than -12. From here, we'd get rid of the 4 by dividing 4 into both sides, and you'd get m is greater than -3. So for the drawing, we would mark -3 on the number line, and this would be greater than. It would be an open circle and going to the right. Once again, watch one of our other videos that are available for a more detailed explanation of that. From here, we start looking at our answers. Is -4 going to fall under this arrow? It would not. Is 12 going to fall under this arrow? 12 would be under the arrow over here. Yes, it would. -3. Well, the target is -3, but since it's an open dot, since it doesn't say or equal to, we can't use it. 3, on the other hand, is under the arrow. 7 is under the arrow. Basically, anything positive is going to be allowed as a solution. -10 would be somewhere over here. It's not under the arrow. 25 is under the arrow. -1. -1 would be right in here. That is under the arrow. Now we've talked about setting this up in Desmos for parentheses -8, which is the original problem, 4 times m minus 8. And you could try out each of these solutions. The ones in blue will give you an answer that's greater than -20. Moving on to the next one. 5 is greater than or equal to -7 plus 3m. Now, a lot of kids don't like these types of problems because all of the terms are shuffled around. What I'm going to do right now is take this part and put it in the front. So we're going to rewrite it like this. Notice how the 5 was on the left of the inequality. Now it's on the right. Notice how when we reversed the whole statement, we had to reverse the inequality sign. From here, now some of you might even want to rewrite it as 3m minus 7, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and show how to solve for it from here. First, we don't have any negative coefficients, so we're not going to worry about shuffling the sign again or reversing the sign again. We are going to add 7 to both sides, and we get this. And then we're going to divide both sides by 3. M is less than or equal to 4. When we graph our solution, we're going to put our 4 on the number line. And this time, since it has the or equal to, it's going to be a solid dot over 4, meaning 4 is allowed as a solution. And it's going to go to the left. So now we're going to look at our different choices to see what numbers would fall under the arrow. -4 would fall under the arrow. +12 would be somewhere over here. It would not be allowed. -5 is under the arrow. It's allowed as a solution. Anything negative is going to be a solution here. +5, real close, but it's not going to be part of the solution. +4, it's under the circle. Yes, it's allowed. -10, it's under the arrow. 0 is under the arrow. -1 is under the arrow. Now, once again, you could set up Desmos and go -7 plus 3 times something. And you could plug in all these blue ones, and they will give you something that's less than or equal to -5 or +5. We're moving on. All right, so this problem, we have the operation side on the left. So we don't need to reverse, either side of it, but we see this negative coefficient, and that does mean we need to reverse the inequality sign. So what I like to do is rewrite that inequality sign reversed down at the bottom, because a lot of kids forget to do it once they've done all the other work. So from here, we treat it like we have with our equations. We just subtract off the constant, and we end up getting -15 over here. And then we divide out the coefficient. When we divide out the coefficient, don't forget to include the sign in front of it. Now, this is where normally you'd do the reversing. And so you're going to get m is less than 3. So we go over here to draw. We put our 3. It's an open dot. It's not going to have the or equal. And it's going to go to the left. Now we start picking choices. -4 is under the arrow. 12 is not under the arrow. -3 is under the arrow. 3, well, it's our target, but since it's an open circle, that means 3 is not allowed to the party. 7 isn't even under the arrow. -13, yeah, that's under the arrow. +25 would be somewhere way over here, not going to be allowed. -1, yes, it's allowed. If we did our setup, -5m plus 2, if we did this in Desmos and tried out each of these blue numbers, they would give us answers that are greater than -13. We're moving on. So we have this one. 84 is less than 12 minus 8m. So this has like every trick that I'm going to throw at you here. First of all, we're going to rewrite this problem. We're going to rewrite it with this expression part over on the left side. So notice how I scooted this expression over on the left, the inequality sign reversed, and then the simplified side is over here on the right. From here, we're just going to do our same old operations that we always do. We're going to notice that the -8 is a negative coefficient. So I'm going to rewrite a reversed inequality sign down here so I don't forget it later. From here, I'm going to subtract off the 12. Gives us -8m being greater than 72. I'm going to get rid of my coefficient by dividing by the exact same thing. And I'm going to get m is less than -9. When we draw our solution up here on the number line, we're going to put -9 as our marker. It's going to be an open circle, and it's going to go to the left. So now we're looking for answers that can make this inequality true. So -9 is directly under the circle, but it's an open circle, not allowed. 12 is positive. Nothing positive is going to be allowed in this. -5, well, it's negative, but it's not under the arrow. -20, it would be under the arrow. 9, not allowed. -10 would be right about here. It's under the arrow. 0 and -1 would not be under the arrow. So these choices, there's only 2 solutions. And if you set up 12 minus 8m, parentheses for m, and plug in the -10 and -20, you're going to get something that is larger than 84. Okay, so now we have a word problem. We need to translate the word problem into an inequality and then solve it. The difference of 3 and 2 times a number is greater than 12. So when we break this down, we're going to see the words the difference of. That means subtraction. The 2 things you're subtracting are separated by the word and. This is not a switcheroo phrase, so don't start changing the order of them. What came in front was 3. 3 is going to go in front. 2 times a number came next. 2 times a number comes next. Is greater than 12 is greater than 12. Okay, we're going to go ahead and now follow the process that we would normally. We see that this is a negative coefficient, so I'm going to rewrite the reversed inequality here at the end. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. We get this. We're going to divide both sides by -2. We get this. N is less than -4.5. We mark -4.5 on our number line. It's going to be an open dot going to the left. Of these choices down below, which ones can be solutions? -5 would be about right here under the arrow. It's going to work. 12 is over here. It's not under the arrow. It's not going to work. -3, now it's negative, but it's not under the arrow. 3's positive, not going to work. 7's positive, it's not under the arrow. -10 would be somewhere under the arrow here, so it's going to work. 25's positive, it's not going to work. -1, yeah, it's negative, but it's not under the arrow. So of these choices, only 2 of them were solutions. You could plug those into the original expression part of the inequality, 3 minus 2n. You plug it in, any of those would give you results greater than 12. If you need more detail, go check out the individual videos that we've created. That's about it. Hope this helps. Best of luck to you.